From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The number of wildland fires across Alaska continues to grow as 41 new fires were reported in today's interagency situation report.
Now, there are now 278 active wildland fires in the 49th state. Thus far, 545 fires have burned over 420,000 acres in Alaska. The mostly evacuated village of Tanana is surrounded by fire, most notably the 21,000-acre Spicer Creek fire to the northeast and the 37,000-acre Tozitna to the northwest. Closer to Fairbanks, the 13,000-acre Aggie Creek fire is causing sporadic road closures between mile 34 and 35 of the Elliott Highway. An evacuation advisory remains in effect for the Himalaya subdivision at 14 Mile of the Elliott due to the Hayes Creek fire. The Rex complex, which consists of the Kobe and Fish Creek fires, stands at over 18,000 acres. It's located between Nenana and Healy on the Parks Highway. Cooler temperatures today assisted crews in making progress towards containing the two.
Not moving very fast. It's more just a creeping fire, which is giving them plenty of time to be working on the perimeter lines going around the fires, hand line, dozer line, and they're still actually prepping structures down there on the south side of the Kobe fire in case it continues to go in that direction.
As wildfire moved closer to the village of Tanana on the Yukon River, most residents had been evacuated by today. The flames were just under 2 miles from the village as firefighters worked to protect homes and property. Tanana resident Cynthia Erickson told us this morning that the last boat out had been loaded and that firefighters were setting up to fight flames if they get to the village. She said that the smoke was so thick you could only see a very short distance. That has hampered efforts to get firefighters and equipment to the scene.
You can't fly in. There's no flights coming in. They can't even get crews in here. They were going to do a drop, but you can't even see. They evacuated women, elders, children. There's just really men, us, and some women that are staying, and then the people that are working for BLM, like cooks and stuff.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Air Quality Division has issued an alert in response to heavy smoke sweeping through the area. The air quality is at an unhealthy level, according to the division's website. A representative from the Fairbanks office told of the American Lung Association says those who already suffer from respiratory or heart diseases should avoid going outdoors. More vulnerable people, such as the elderly and children, should also be especially careful. The haze can still cause those without existing conditions to experience eye irritation, fatigue, and a number of other issues. American Lung Association Health Education Manager Octavia Harris says affected individuals can call the ALA hotline at 1-800-LUNG-USA with any questions.
Try to stay indoors as much as possible, stay hydrated, and again, if you do have any sort of respiratory issue that's been diagnosed and you're not able to try to help yourself with utilizing your medications, then definitely see your physician or contact a physician, or you can also reach out to our lung helpline.
A Fairbanks man will serve 6 years jail time for allegedly sexually abusing an 8-year-old girl. 30-year-old Devin Kelly entered into a plea deal with the state late yesterday afternoon. Now, according to court documents, the state dismissed a single charge of first-degree sexual abuse, and in exchange, Kelly pleaded guilty to indecent exposure. Investigators in the case testified Kelly engaged in sexual activity in front of the child, including masturbation, which between September and November of 2013. As part of his conditions, Kelly will also be placed on probation for a period of 10 years. A trust fund in the amount of $7,500 will be set up and administered by his father, Pete Kelly, in order to pay for counseling for the victim.
Over the last few years, silt has been accumulated on the Chena River banks near the Golden Heart Plaza. Festival Fairbanks received a grant from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that has provided the opportunity to rebuild the habitat by adding willow to the riverbank. The willow will eventually provide protection to the young salmon swimming down the river. Festival Fairbanks Executive Director Julie Jones says that along with the willow, they'll be adding a new dock to the Golden Heart Plaza as well. However, the equipment is coming from Sterling and the set date of the dock's installation has been postponed.
This will make it a much better environment for the fish and a great environment for our entertainment as well. And we get to eat the fish, and we get to launch our boats here at Golden Heart Plaza.
When we come back, time is winding down for more than 6,000 military who are participating in the Northern Edge military exercise.
Also, even though the smoke is canceling a lot of events, Pioneer Park is offering alternatives. We'll tell you what you can do. These and other stories when we return.
And welcome back. A Fort Wainwright soldier was sentenced to 2 years in prison today for his part in a string of armed robberies. Private Brandon Charles pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery earlier this year and was sentenced this afternoon after Superior Court Judge Michael McDonald took the matter under advisement on Monday. Charles was the getaway driver in the incident with 2 other soldiers. The 3 men robbed at least 3 random and, quote, vulnerable victims around the Fairbanks area with weapons, including a loaded shotgun. During sentencing, Judge McDonald said it was a terrifying night the victims would never forget. He further added the soldiers stained the uniform by robbing the innocent victims, one of which was an elderly homeless man from whom they robbed his sack of food.
They had a higher duty than the ordinary young men in this community. They've received training, they've taken oaths, and they breached that trust, and they stained the uniform by their conduct in this case. They jeopardized the Second Amendment rights of all the citizens of this country.
About 6,000 military members and 200 aircraft have been taking part in the 2015 Northern Edge exercise in Alaska, which wraps up June 26th. Air Force Staff Sergeant Estrella Martinez has details in this week's military report.
Northern Edge is a joint service exercise that focuses on attaining real-world proficiency in joint communications. Air tactics and command are the highlight of this exercise, but would never be a possibility without help from aircraft maintainers.
I think it gives us an ability to come out here and show what we do also. I mean, without us, the jets don't fly. So, you know, I've got AFSCs, about 8 different AFSCs up here, all working hard and together to get these old jets in the air.
And just like any exercise, preparation and planning are key to success.
Well, we're very busy. There's definitely a lot of work to be done, and a lot of coordination goes into it. Well, we coordinate with logistics very closely as far as getting all our gear up here, obviously getting our airplanes up here, and all the support equipment, everything we need. So logistics is a huge part of it. So obviously we track that very closely. Obviously you can't do the work without all the equipment and the parts that you need to do so, and obviously getting all the people where they need to be as well.
Exercises like Northern Edge allow military members to enhance their warfighting capability and continuously be prepared to protect and defend.
You know, they pay us to do a job and we have to deploy around the world to do it. And coming up here is just like going anywhere else in the world. You know, we have to deploy to the far reaches of the world and be able to put warheads on foreheads, basically. So and it takes a dynamic team of maintainers and operations officers and everybody across the board to make that happen.
Reporting from Eielson Air Force Base, Alaska, I'm Air Force Staff Sergeant Estrella Martinez.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
Smoke got you down? No problem. Check out all the fun things Pioneer Park has to offer indoors.
Well, I'm here again with Jason Avery, the manager of the park. Hey, Jason.
How are you doing today?
Well, you know, it's a little smoky today. You guys are getting ready to prep for 4th of July.
Absolutely. We've got 4th of July coming up next Saturday. Really excited. Going to have the ceremony up on the riverboat and tons of activities and music throughout the day. So we're hoping everybody comes out next Saturday.
But before next Saturday, we have a full week here at the park, and you know, it's pretty smoky, but that doesn't stop you guys from having a lot to do, right?
Oh, absolutely. All of our merchants will be open, and we still have tons of activities going on in the park, and we've got a lot of great indoor facilities for folks to come in and check out some of the museums. And well, we've got the Air Museum as well as the Pioneer Museum, Kitty Hensley House. We also have the Wickersham House, and we've got the 3rd floor gallery on top of the Civic Center for the Arts Association.
And the Arts Association, they always have different things in there, so that's a really cool thing for even locals to check out on the regular. So as you can tell, despite the smoke, there's always fun things to do because that's what's happening this week at Pioneer Park. Always a fun time there.
Yeah, indoors.
Indoors.
Very cool.
It is great. All right, well, up next in sports, Joe Cook gets you up to speed. The Alaska Gold Panners' next series.
Also, a UAF alum is bringing a basketball camp to the interior. Those stories and more after the break.
Welcome back Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your midweek Wednesday Sportscast. The Alaska Gold Panners are slated to start a 5-game series against the Everett Monarchs tonight. Hopefully that smoke will clear out. The Monarchs are the arch rivals of the Seattle Studs in the Pacific International League. This will be a clash of two hot teams. The Monarchs and Gold Panners are both on 3-game win streaks. Everett recently swept the Peninsula Oilers. They have an 11-3 record. Alaska is now 4-5 after starting 1-4 this summer. They swept the Studs for their first series win of the summer. After 9 games, players are establishing themselves for the Panners. Renee Martinez has been consistent for Alaska, hitting .400 and leading the team in RBIs with 7. Spencer Nielsen finished with 6 ribbies. He went 7 for 16 and hit the first homer of the year for the Gold Panners during that stud series. Scooter Bina of Monroe fame and current Arizona Western player is hitting .381 and is 2 hits and 2 RBIs away from matching his totals from his first year as a Gold Panner, 10 hits and 5 ribbies. It's been a committee approach on the mound. 6 different pitchers have at least 6 strikeouts and ERAs of 3.2 or less in 4 or more innings of work. Now, hopefully the smoke can clear up for some upcoming local running events. This Thursday is the Jim Loftus Mile. The mile run begins at West Valley High School at 6:30. There will be a 1-mile race for ages 10 and older and an 800-meter race for kids 9 and under. This is the 3rd event in the Usabelli Running Series. The event is open to all, and it's $5 to sign up for the mile run, and it's in honor of the late Jim Loftus, who was a fixture in the local running community. Then on Friday at 6 o'clock will be the kids' cross-country races. The half-mile and the mile-and-a-half races will start at West Valley Soccer Fields, and that event is free. After a big weekend of racing on the dirt track, local raceways get back to their season schedules this week. Thursday night at North Pole Speedway, Bandos and Legends drivers will continue to battle in the points division. Second-year driver Shylan Anneker is leading the Bandolero division. Former champions Justin Sammons and Destiny Todd and the 2-time runner-up Steve Hunter are also in contention. Al Treadle and Rod Harker also chasing new points leader John Beck in the Legends class. Races are Thursday night at 7 p.m. at the North Pole Speedway. And over at the Mitchell Raceway, drivers will compete for points in some tight divisions. Kurt Krause is holding on to a 3-point lead over Tim Jahula in the modified class. Dave Summers is ahead 10 points in the sportsman class. Terry Ramsey leads the mini bomber class by 8 points. Sean Isaacs in the dollar stock class and Joe Beck in the sprint class lead their competitors by at least 15 points, so they're cruising. In a little over 2 weeks, a high-profile basketball camp will be making its way to the interior. True Game Select AAU basketball program will put on the Gannon Baker Basketball Camp and Elevate Prep Exposure Trial and Workout. A lot going on here. Former UAF standout Jaquise Sconiers is helping put on the camp and workout. Gannon Baker is a professional trainer who has worked with NBA players like Kevin Durant and Vince Carter, just to name a few. The event takes place July 9th and 10th at Tanana Middle School. Sconiers played for the GNAC champion Nanics in 2002. He was assistant coach for West Valley and UAF as well. The basketball camp will be for ages 10 and up from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock, and it's $225. The exposure tryout workout is for rising juniors, seniors, and postgraduate boys players, and that's from 2 to 4 p.m., and that's $75. It's all happening July 9th and 10th. For more info and to register, visit the link on the webcenter11.com sports page. And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is up next with weather, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into a Wednesday night edition of the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, talking about the weather. And it went from bad to worse on the sky conditions. Boy, that smoke came in today, and it was just miserable. And we're looking at that to continue at least to Thursday and maybe even to Friday. But there is some good news that maybe by Friday evening into Saturday, we're looking at a pretty good front moving in that should start to scour things out and bring us a little rain too. Keep our fingers crossed on that one, but it looks that way right now. And speaking of the smoke, well, Alicia Levy was able to capture this beautiful shot of the sun. It looks really evil, doesn't it? We'll call it definitely a fire sun. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com and we'll share it with the rest of the audience. Your numbers look like this. Today's high only 70 degrees. Currently it's 70. The the recent low last night was 51. The record low 36 in 1957, but the record high 91 in 1942. Your sunrise and sunset, 21 hours and 47 minutes, a loss of 1.5 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite and radar across the entire state, you can see thunderstorms breaking out again across the Alaska Range, and that's where they're staying. Nothing is moving up in our direction, so things are looking pretty good right now. And looking at a little closer look in the Fairbanks area, as you zoom in, you see storms around the Fairbanks area, but again, untouched across the Tanana Valley, looking pretty good. A lot of activity along the Alaska Range. What else is going on across the rest of the state? Well, for the most part, fairly quiet. Little rain falling at Juneau and Ketchikan. Temperature is about 66 degrees at Juneau, 59 at Ketchikan. Showers around Kodiak, 58. 74 in Anchorage. Not a bad day there. Cloudy skies along the Aleutian Chain around Cold Bay. Up and down the west coast. Once again, temperatures ranging from 79 at Bethel to 49 at Nome. Barrow, kind of chilly, 37 degrees there. And Fort Yukon, not quite 80 degrees with lots of sunshine. To the lower 48 we go, and we'll talk once again about hot temperatures out to the west. 97 degrees in Salt Lake City, 91 in Denver, but much hotter around Las Vegas and Phoenix. Not a bad day in San Francisco, almost 80 degrees in Seattle. And as you move to the east, you get back in a little more cloud cover and rain shower activity and thunderstorms. Around the Minneapolis area, 78 degrees, 87 in St. Louis, 95 still cooking around the Dallas area. Over New York, 83 degrees, some scattered thunderstorm activity there. Atlanta having thunderstorms all day long, and 93. On the satellite and radar, you can see a lot of activity moving across from the west to the east. Really strong winds helping to fuel thunderstorms around the Atlanta, Georgia area, New Orleans. Also some around the Chicago area. Look at these things blow up at the very end here. Whoa, big thunderstorms there. And again, a lot of activity along the eastern range, eastern slopes of the Rockies, is what I'm trying to say, and across the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of shower activity too. Now, record high temperatures are looking like they're going to be really moving in over much of the Pacific Northwest this weekend. Boise, 101 degrees, Reno, 99 degrees, Portland, 98 degrees, and Seattle, 88. So some very hot temperatures, even Salt Lake City, 102 degrees. And that's all because the jet stream, once again, is way up to the north and then diving down to the south, helping to usher in all that warm air from the south. Also, thunderstorms will be mainly confined to the deep south and to sections of the east coast. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. For the northern sections, chance of some showers in Barrow. Cloudy skies for Nome, and smoky conditions will continue at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, once again, more smoke around the Fairbanks area. Showers are likely for Delta Junction, especially eastward, and isolated thunderstorms are possible in the Healy region. Over southeast Alaska, the rain will continue there. Periods of rain from Juneau all the way down to Ketchikan with temperatures in the low 60s. Out to the southwest, looking at partly cloudy skies at Bethel, showers in Cold Bay, and more rain expected at Kodiak. And if you're heading on down the Anchorage Bowl, looking at mostly cloudy skies in Anchorage and Valdez, and showers are possible at Homer. Once again, here locally, we're looking at very, very ugly conditions. A dense smoke advisory right on through Thursday. Thick smoke will continue into Friday. Visibility is dropping to as low as a half mile at times. Definitely limit your outdoor activities. Okay, your forecast for tonight, smoke obviously becoming dense overnight. It always does overnight. 59 degrees, tomorrow's forecast, 78 degrees, continued smoky with an isolated shower possible. And the 5-day period, as you can see here, temperatures cooling down over the weekend, then slowly warming back up for Monday and Tuesday. Also looking at overnight lows dropping down to around the mid-50s and then rising back up again to the upper 50s. All in all, not too great with this smoke, but it looks like a little relief by this weekend.
Hopefully, getting some rain. Thank you, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, 800,000 people are without power tonight as violent weather sweeps across the country. That's up next with Lester Holt.
All right, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11, or of course online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night. We'll see you back at 11.
Good night.